Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about $12 bin. And what that is basically you go to the store, you go to anything, you go to a garage sale, and you pick up a video game, movie, book, food if you want. I mean, you can do anything, but you can't have any prior knowledge of what you're getting. Like you could want it, but you can never go to that store wanting it. Like if you see it, because I found this game. And I just found this game just a couple days ago during the midnight release of Fallout. And it's like I've been looking for that game, but I haven't been able to find it, so that counts because I have no idea what it is, why it is, but I just know that I wanted it. And I mean, there's simple rules behind this concept. It's just like you can't really want it, you can't play demos of it, you can't have prior knowledge, you can't watch reviews and stuff. And it makes it better because when you find a great game that way, it makes you feel really good about it, and if you find a bad game that way, you don't care. So, and most of the time, you don't pay very much. That's why it's called $12 bin. And as you can see, pulling back, I have about 82 videos, not 82 video games, DVDs, and all this things put together. 82 of them. So I've got a long time before I'll need to buy anything else, and the collection keeps growing and growing every day. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you would like Grim Grimoire, because it is the perfect example for the $12 bin. Because my mom called me up and she said, "Do you want this game or this other game?" And she said it was like a mech game, and I'm really glad I picked this one because it is an excellent game, and you're about to find out why.
Grim Grimoire is a very hard game to define. It's an RTS, RPG, strategy game that is played in only 2 dimensions. The story starts out as Lilith Blonde, or as said by my favorite character, Avocat,
Lilith Blan.
and she just arrived at the greatest school for studying the magic arts. Something goes astray, and just before she's killed, she's sent back in time 5 days, and everything is normal except for the time that she spent, and she knows all the magic she's learned in those 5 days. She then figures out that how she acts and what she tells people will drastically change the future. The twist of the story and the epic plot kept me going, and the story has an excellent and very satisfying ending. The only part of the story that drags is this douche. All he does is hit on you and whine about being a spy for a foreign country. First of all, that would be pretty awesome. And second, stop complaining and change it. Don't just whine and pout like a baby and expect sympathy. Nearly all of the other voice casting is great in this game, but his is just terrible. And it's so off-putting and very abrasive, and he comes off as a strong guy, but as the game goes on, it just shows how weak and kind of brittle he is. And it makes me laugh at some points, but it's just like how sad that because he's in the game far more often than the other character, Harem, who is, I think, a much better character to personify, because the only thing he really wants is to have a relationship with his teacher, a very physical relationship with his teacher, and he can't get that. On paper, this whole game looks like a thrown-together mess, but it actually works really well. This is a real-time strategy first and foremost. You have to build and create stuff and make soldiers and send them out to die, as in any other RTS, but with magic. But it's also a lot like Fire Emblem, in the sense that it's based around a system where everything has a strength and weakness. There are 4 sections of magic: alchemy, necromancy, sorcery, and gallery, or whatever how you pronounce that. I'm just going to call it nature because that's a dumb name. And each has a strength and weakness against the other. The game really pushes this because you have a large army at hand, and you're dominating everything, and then suddenly 2 or 3 enemies could crush everything you have. 3 well-placed homunculi can easily defeat a large raiding group from the necromancy army, but could be crushed by a simple and small fairy. This system is really fair, balanced, and fun, to the point where you fully enjoy the moments where you have to fight 2 teachers who specialize in 2 different types of magic, who will crush you with such deadly force. To really get into this game, you have to talk about the 4 sectors of the magic and what that entails. Because you will cling to one of these sectors of magic. Like, I love alchemy just for the homunculus, but you will get to these different sections of magic and you will like one of them over the other ones far more. And this is because each of them have a gatherer that's different in one way, and each of them have a super familiar, which is, some of them are amazing. I guess we're just going to start off with sorcery. Their gatherer is simply an imp, and that's the only gatherer that can actually attack. and that'd be the only reason why you'd want that one, because they can attack. They're not fast or anything like that. And then they have the dragon as their super familiar, which is amazing. I think the best of the super familiars. Though the slowest character on the field, he can attack in all directions and hit everybody. And the only person who's really weak against is anybody from the necromancy, just because he does less damage. But even then, he has a lot of life and he can take a hit. Alchemy's Gatherer is a blob. And the best thing about this guy is that he can actually shoot out a goo that slows you down, and this can be very devastating to the enemy or to you. And their super familiar is a Chimera. It's just like the dragon, except for a lot faster and a lot weaker too. And it also has a special ability, I think, once you get past a certain point, where it actually can eat other alchemy familiars and gain its life back. So that's actually kind of useful, especially in the 20-minute defending area. In nature, the Gatherer is the elf. And the best thing about him, other than the fact that you have to use him for the first half of the game, and other than that it's not bad, is the fact that after a while he gains the ability to heal. And this can be very, very beneficial to you, because you can have like 4 or 5 elves following a dragon, and that dragon could just dominate everything because he's getting health from that elf. And the super familiar for nature is the Morning Star. And the great thing about her is the fact that not only does she have the most life, but she's also a ghost or sort necromancy type of character, so it's harder to hit her. And like the main problem I have with her, and the reason why I never use her, is the fact that you have to actually build her ammunition. Like, you have to build a person, you actually have to build her ammunition so she can fire. But she's very, very powerful. But you can only have like 5 ammo at any given time, and you have to keep building that ammo, which costs a lot of mana or money. And the Necromancy's Gatherer is a ghost. And the best thing about him is the fact that he doesn't have to travel up and down stairs, and he can go straight through things. So he can actually travel in a straight line to the mana source. So that's actually the best benefit about him, is the fact that he can get the mana fastest. The super familiar for the Necromancy is the Charon. And the good thing about him is the fact that he can turn any familiar into a spirit and transport them over long distances very quickly. And he can even take those spirits he's transported and chuck them at the enemies, causing massive damage. The only problem is the fact that he can only carry 5 familiars at a time. And once you throw an enemy, they die and you don't ever get them back. So carrying people around often is not good unless you want to get past like a pillar and try to get somewhere very quickly. The controls are very tight and work well, but lacks a certain amount of immersion while in combat. You move your soldiers around, but it feels like you're merely cheering them on rather than controlling them. The biggest problem for me in this game is that there's a limit to how many familiars you can have on the battlefield at any given time. This adds another aspect of difficulty, but it's stupid that you have enough money to purchase 1,000,000 fairies, but you can't because of the limit, and must send your entire gathering party out to die just so you can create some more. And most of the time, this isn't really a problem, because you tend to lose a lot of soldiers while conquering and destroying the other bases. But during the defending challenge, you need to either have perfect knowledge of what you're defending against, which you normally don't get, or more soldiers just to beat that challenge. I failed at least 10 times on a 20-minute defending mission because they send their entire army at the very last second, and I lose everything while still having enough money to build 3 extra bases. This game is beautiful. The reason why I let this go to the wayside is because the game is great without it. Everything has depth and rounded edges. Everything is so animated and colorful. The monsters move with such passion that it fills you with a sense of joy until it's taken away by the sight of a dragon. All in all, this game is challenging and cinematic and very poetic. Without much to complain about, this game is nearly perfect and necessary for all gamers' collections. I don't particularly enjoy RTSs, but I still found this game exceptionally entertaining. This is the perfect example for the $12 bin, because with prior knowledge, I may have passed this game up. So I ask you, this is one game, if you can find it, get it, play it, and enjoy it, because this is a great game, and I would give up quite a few other games before I would let this one go. So, hope you guys enjoyed.
Alright, at the end of every $12 bin video, I've got this hat full of little things here that says what's going to be the next video. I'm going to draw it out. And that's what we're going to do, is decide what we're going to do next. What we got next is Sphere.